Thanks to the Nintendo Switch, we're starting to see some older LEGO games come to new handhelds with the full experience. If you don't know, the 3DS and PlayStation Vita version of all of their LEGO games have been chopped up experiences. Free roam sections were taken out, some story content was cut completely, some of the games are isometric games instead of behind the camera games, and all around they were just different watered down experiences that a lot of people didn't like. 2015's LEGO Jurassic World was one of those games, and now that it's on the Switch, we have the full experience that is just like the PS4 and Xbox One versions. Here is my review of LEGO Jurassic World for the Nintendo Switch. Now when it comes to story, there is one thing that current Jurassic Park fans might be disappointed with. This is a direct port of the 2015 LEGO Jurassic World game, so we've only got the campaigns of the first 4 entries of the series: Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, and Jurassic World. That means last year's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and the short film Battle at Big Rock that just released about a month ago don't have any content in this game. But the story we do have is still humorous, entertaining, and with a few nods that fans of the Jurassic Park book series by Michael Crichton will be quick to pick up on. When it comes to gameplay, this is an action platformer with lots of puzzle elements and a few beat-em-up combat elements thrown into the mix. As you trek your way through the game, you'll be navigating 3D levels, solving puzzles, and doing just a little bit of combat with enemies in the later chapters. As I said in the intro, this is not the same LEGO Jurassic World we got on the PS Vita and 3DS. Here's some footage I took of the PlayStation Vita version 4 years ago when I reviewed it. As you can see, the free roam areas of all of the hubs were completely removed and kind of chopped down into little segments where you just walk from one terminal to the next to go to the next story level. The Switch version, however, matches the PS4 version. All of those free roam segments are back along with all of the side content that you can do on them. And that brings us to game progression. You have 4 of these free roam hubs for each of the 4 movies, and you can do a lot of free roaming and side stuff in these hubs. I'm not going to say it's completely open world. The path you take to the next story level is pretty linear. You just have side quests you can do here and there as you go along that path. Now outside of side content, your main task is to get to the next story area by cycling through your party members and solving puzzles, like assembling gates so you can open up a path the Jurassic Park cars can take out on their way to the T-Rex paddock. Of course, once you get into the story levels, you're doing pretty much the same thing. You've got a lot of areas that you can platform around and normally have a party of characters that you can cycle with different abilities. Now, of course, there are a few things that everyone can do, like destroying LEGO objects to reveal studs and pieces for creations needed for puzzles later. It's more the interactable puzzle segments that you need different characters for, like Lex's ability to scream and break glass, or Alan Grant's ability to assemble bone-based LEGO structures. And like I said earlier, you're not going to be doing that much combat here. The non-boss enemies don't even show up in the game until the Lost World segment, and most of the bosses are quick time event and cinematic based. This is very different from the more modern LEGO games, relying more on the cinematic chasing sequences and QTE-based boss fights rather than just popping huge waves of enemies every time you go into a new room. Another thing this game does that I find pretty unique are different levels that happen at the same time. At a few segments of the movies, you're going to have 2 different parties of characters that are going to be going around different areas of the map, and you can freely swap between them. Some of these are mandatory for you to be swapping in between so they can solve puzzles for each other and eventually meet. But some of them are optional, like the segment where Dr. Grant is with the kids and Ellie Sattler is with John Hammond, and if you don't swap over to that part of Ellie's scenario before you finish the Grant scenario, it'll completely skip it and you won't be able to go back outside of free play. Now, one of the biggest crutches of this game is content and length. Of course, the fact that we have all of these free roam segments means that the Switch version will last you longer than the Vita and 3DS versions did. But despite being 4 movies long, I managed to beat the game with a significant amount of exploring in pretty much all areas in about 10 to 11 hours. Now there is some post-game content that you can do, like going back to free roam to do any side quests you missed, and collecting gold bricks for special minigame areas where you can play as key dinosaurs like the T-Rex or Mosasaurus. But even with that and the bonus post-game levels that have you redoing the chase scenes, it's really up to you to decide whether 10 to 12 hours of content is worth that $40 price tag. Now let's dive into controls for just a moment so I can talk about input lag. Whenever I do anything in this game, from running, jumping, punching, or doing QTE inputs, I get about 1 to 1.5 seconds of input lag for every button press I do. Now you can certainly adjust to it and it doesn't make the game unplayable, but it's very noticeable. When it comes to presentation, the game looks pretty good graphically. In docked mode, it looks pretty smooth overall with a very small amount of blurring over the character models, and that blur gets a good bit stronger when you go into handheld mode or the Nintendo Switch Lite, specifically on things far away from the camera. Nothing really bad to say about performance, so let's go right into battery life. On the original model, LEGO Jurassic World has a battery range of 4 hours and 2 minutes up to 4 hours and 41 minutes. On the Nintendo Switch Lite, it has a range of 4 hours and 13 minutes up to 5 hours and 34 minutes. And on the V2 or Redbox model, it has a range of 5 hours and 52 minutes up to 7 hours and 12 minutes. Now in conclusion, LEGO Jurassic World's full home console experience is finally available on handhelds. Now on the downside, it's got some small issues with blurring and input lag, but if you're a fan of the series and don't mind not having Fallen Kingdom or Battle at Big Rock content here, this is a fun LEGO game to trek through on the go, both for single player and co-op fans of Jurassic Park. Reviews to Go rates LEGO Jurassic World for the Nintendo Switch an 8 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.